Hey guys, Rachel here at Gordon's Fine Wine and Culinary Center. We're here tonight to taste some exciting Rieslings from S.A. Prum. Presenting these wines will be Raymond Prum, the winemaker, and pairing these wines will be Chris Chung, executive chef at Aka Bistro. I'm excited, so let's go taste. Hi guys, we're here with Raymond Prum of S.A. Prum, and he is going to tell us a little bit about his wine and really a little bit about what we're doing tonight and his background.
It is so funny to taste all these different vintages. It is never boring. It is something exciting, really exciting. And when we have the wine in a glass and we can taste the result of a full year's work, then we can sit down for a moment only. More time is not there. And relax, enjoy the vintage. Think about how it turned up from the pruning to the blood, to the picking and fermentation and all the process down in the cellar. And then you get it into the bottle and you pick it out of the glass and you say, my God, it worked this year again.
We're here with Chris Chung, executive chef at Aka Bistro. And what are you putting together for us right now, Chris?
Right now I'm preparing little hors d'oeuvres for the first course. This is a tartelette. It's a Provençal tartelette with a little bit olive tapenade and a little tomato confit, and put on top of a little small puff pastry. And we finish it with a little arugula, and it's a very good like past hors d'oeuvre and match really well with the Riesling.
And why did you decide on this to go with the Riesling?
I taste it when they send me the wine, and I taste it with a lot of fruit, and the olives, the earthiness, and the tomato tartness of the tomato works really well with the wine.
So tell us a little bit about this wine. Ooh, cheers.
What we have here is our basic Riesling. It is Essence. And Essence is a wine I created almost 7-8 years ago. I created this wine to pair with the food. Because everybody knows we talk about Riesling and Asian cuisine. That's a great stuff. Asian cuisine, this is perfect for Riesling.
Right now, I'm getting ready for the spicy shrimp salad, which is one of my signature dish. I got the idea from Thai cuisine, which is like a lobster som tom, which is like a green papaya salad. And right now, it's more like a ceviche, but it's more like a Thai-style ceviche. What we do is we put a lot of vegetables, nicely cut julienne vegetables. There's cucumber, mango, green papaya, peppers, jalapeno, and we put orange juice, and then we have more like a Thai vinegar that is more like a Thai bird chilies, a little garlic, lime juice, finish with a little palm sugar, and we let it sit for a while. Finish with a little cilantro, and we're gonna pair with another Riesling. But this is for part of the dinner tonight.
It smells so crisp and fresh.
Refreshing.
Yeah.
And spicy too.
It looks delicious.
What the wine is telling you actually is the climate. Go into the bouquet and the aromas which are in there, they always make you smile.
They do.
Yeah?
I love the white floral and the apricot.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
So why do you think Thai food goes so well with Riesling?
Because it works really well with spicy food. And the first thing I think about is, and it works really well with shellfish. So that's what I think about, is something spicy and shellfish. And I taste it with the wine, and it works really nice. It brings it. The wine helps it cuts the spiciness, and it just matched perfectly together.
Okay, I'd love it if you told us a little bit about the winery, Raymond, and the wines that you're producing from there.
We are, as a winery, belonging to the oldest group of German wineries.
Wow.
So we are almost, not close, but almost 900 years old.
Wow.
So we go back to 1156 when the family got moving into the valley, and then
And
they
this was your
started.
family?
That was always my family.
Wow.
So continuously. We are talking about 850 and more years of history making wine. It is an endless story of characters, because each single wine represents a different style, a different, well, minerality, a different fruitiness, a different concentration, lighter styles, easygoing, to think about, invite people, or keep them out of the house.
Keep it to yourself?
Yes. I need to tell you, we have 3 different kinds of slate, which is actually in our area, and therefore the wines out of our area are so different. The pressure of the earth, which formed the mountains in our area, that put the horizontal position of the slate into a vertical one. And slate always has a lot of layers. So now, if you put it into a vertical, now the rootstocks have the chance to climb into these layers, because it's a very soft rock. You can break it, but the rootstocks go into. And what they do, they transport the minerals out of the slate into the grape, and we have the chance to get the minerals into the glass of wine. So later on, you will taste the minerals. You can taste it, but it's exciting. That means when you sit down and concentrate on the wine and listen what the wine is telling you, you find these different layers, and with each single sip, you detect more.
We are here at Brookline Liquor Mart with Kevin and Brett from 90 Plus Cellars, which is a virtual winery based in Boston. And can you tell me a little bit about how the company got started and how the idea sprung for your company?
Sure. Well, Latitude Beverage is about 3 years old now. We launched this brand in July of 2009, so only like about 18 months ago. And initially when the brand started, we were just trying to find, as a private label brand for a collection of stores throughout the state of Massachusetts, some high quality wines that they could bring in as a private label, as exclusive to a few stores. And I took it on myself to just, kind of try to find good quality wines and to throw myself a bit of a life raft in the sea of wine of vineyards all throughout the world. I started looking at Wine Spectator and Wine Advocate and saying, why not just start at stuff that these critics have chosen as outstanding wines, excellent wines, rated 90 or higher. And to be honest, Kelsey, I just started cold calling. I emailed up to 20 wineries a day, 20, 25 wineries a day, and saying a form email I cut and pasted and sent to them and said, we're interested in this wine. Do you have any available as a private label project? You bottled it up. We send you the labels, and surprisingly enough, I'd get about 5-10 emails back a day, and at least 2 or 3 samples sent to me. Yeah. So the fact that all these wineries had these wines that had a pedigree of 90 or higher ratings, and they were able to sell to us, I just thought, why not just call it 90 Plus Cellars? Because all the wines we were buying had that pedigree of those accolades.
Right.
And that's how the brand name began, and that's how the first 7 wines that we launched began.
So a lot of other companies do something along the same lines of what you're doing, but what sets you apart from these other companies is the 90 Plus rating.
There's not a lot of companies that do what we do in Massachusetts or even in the Northeast.
Right.
Primarily companies that, when this opportunity came about where there was a lot of California wineries selling their oversupply of high-end wines, kind of what they call declassifying their really quality wine. A lot of these entrepreneurs sprung up in California.
Right.
And not a lot of that spread out to the East Coast. So there's really not a lot of people that do exactly what we do here in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. And one thing that we differentiate ourselves also is we focus in on key markets. We don't have ambitions to be a national company. We never will be a national company, which will help us maintain our quality. A lot of these other companies, they'll launch with distributors in 40 different states. We're happy being in the New England market, being in Northeast. Mm-hmm. If we get 3,000 cases of a Pinot Noir, then that's how many cases we get. We don't stretch it. We don't try to go after. We're not trying to hit sales numbers. We're just trying to supply the marketplace and our customers good quality wine at a great value, and that's it.
So how do you guys find the wineries that you choose to bottle, and do you have any exclusive relationships with any particular wineries?
Now we're using a couple global sourcing companies that have offices in every major wine producing country in the world, and we give them our criteria, and we say, you know, they're making a percentage, and we give them our criteria, and we say, this is what we're looking for, this is the kind of quality we need, and if anything comes across your desk that meets our criteria, send us samples.
One of the luxuries that we have is that we have the ability to, try out our wines on some of our, retail partners, customers, and just educated, wine professionals.
We have to meet another criteria. We have to be a great value. Anybody can launch a great wine. If I go out there right now and you give me $50, I'll get you a really nice bottle of wine.
Right.
But the secret is I want to give you $15 and you get me that same quality. Then you're a savvy shopper.
Now, does the consumer ever know the exact rating of the wine that's in their bottle that they're drinking?
On our website, as well as the shelf talkers in the store, we write the ratings pedigree of that particular wine. Sometimes it's a current vintage that's been 90 plus rated. Other times it's just from a winery with a track record or a specific wine with a track record of high scores. There's a lot of controversy around 90 plus ratings and whether or not that's the only way to select a good quality bottle of wine, and I don't believe it is. I think there are many different ways, and really the points awarded to a wine are more of a reflection of the critic's assessment of that wine and not necessarily any aspect of the wine itself. So how do you find a good bottle of wine for you? You might want to start with the point system, but you might want to, take wine classes yourself. You might want to educate yourself, or you might want to develop a relationship with a particular retailer, maybe it's a little closer to home, that you like and trust in terms of recommending good bottles of wine, because there's so much more out there that can be rated, to a degree. So. With our wines, we just hope that people are willing to give them a try and see whether or not they work for them.
Right. Now, do you feel like the mystery of the consumer wondering what's in the bottle kind of drives some of your customer base?
I think so. I think whenever you have a certain level of mystery that it attracts people, and people are curious and want to know more. But I think ultimately it comes down to their experience with the label and that particular wine, and most of the time we just hear, oh, that's a great bottle of wine, how can I get more? And they're sad, and we tell them that the lot is all sold out, but we've got something better coming for them down the line.
You don't get to the mystery point until they actually like the wine.
Right.
Now, we know to a degree it's a leap of faith. We're saying these wines are 90 plus rated wines, but we can't tell you who it is.
Right.
But what we try to be is be transparent as we can in every other way. While it's letting our Facebook fans know like what we're doing, what we're tasting, by being on French Oak TV and just saying, hey, here we are. This is what we do.
Right.
Like I said before, the labels have to obey all the same appellation laws that any other wine has to achieve.
Some of them you probably could figure out if you looked on the back label and really did your homework, but I think most of our customers are just happy to have a good bottle of wine at a good fair price.
Now we have in our glass some Sauvignon Blanc from 90 plus. Can you tell us a little bit about this particular wine and where it's from?
Yeah, this is our Lot 2 Sauvignon Blanc from Marlborough, New Zealand, 2010 vintage. It's classic. If you smell it, you take a whiff. It's classic New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. It's sort of like it's like someone squeezed a grapefruit in your face, but I mean that in a really good way.
Right. But not as painful.
Right, exactly. I mean, you can put it over here, and you can just smell the aroma just coming out of the glass. Sauvignon Blancs from New Zealand just tend to be this really big, aromatic, kind of citrus-laden Sauvignon Blanc with a little bit of the cut grass, a little bit of the minerality, and this wine is probably our best-selling wine.
So now we're on to one of your reds, and which one is in our glass right now?
This is our Lot 21 French Fusion, which is actually a red wine, a red blend from the Languedoc in the south of France. It's a blend of 60% Syrah, 30% Grenache, 10% Mourvedre. What I love about this wine is, in a way, we took a chance on this wine, because when you think of our wine label and what we do, you obviously think of Chardonnay, Cabernet, Merlot, Sauvignon Blanc. This is a little different. This is a little step outside of the mainstream. But it's not so much with respect to what's in the glass. I mean, what you have in the glass is just nice, blackberry fruit, a little bit of maybe a white pepper, a little bit of anise, maybe a floral-like component to it. Not many people are familiar, let's say, with the Languedoc. But maybe Châteauneuf-du-Pape is a more recognizable, name from, in that area of the country. But,
Right.
Commands a much higher price. Think of this as the same grapes go there. It's a little bit of a baby Chateauneuf to a degree. And, this wine retails for under $15. And it's just a wonderful style of Southern French red that I think, goes well on its own. But, of course, like most French wines pair well with, you need to eat something with it.
Right. Right. Thanks so much for joining French Oak TV, and thanks to Brookline Liquor Mart for having us.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The social networking site Twitter enables users to communicate via short, text-based messages called tweets, and has become a very popular way for winemakers, retailers, and consumers to interact with each other. One of the most appealing aspects of Twitter is the ability to quickly share information to a like-minded community by use of a mobile device or smartphone. It is in this way that industry professionals and wine enthusiasts can easily discuss wine with others regardless of his or her actual location. As such, many use Twitter during organized wine tasting events to offer information on a particular style or bottle of wine, as well as to share their personal tasting notes and compare them with others. An event that typified this use was the very successful Pinot Tweet-Up, in which people across the country gathered at local wine shops and homes to taste a variety of Pinot Noirs and tweet their opinions. The Boston area event was organized by wine blogger Amanda Maynard and hosted at Urban Grape in Chestnut Hill.
My name's Amanda Maynard. I write a blog called The Wining Woman. It's basically about my adventures in wine, learning about wine. And recently I'm focusing a little bit more on doing some events locally, like here tonight. And I'm also focusing on local wineries, so Massachusetts, Rhode Island.
The group tasted through a number of Pinot Noirs, including those from Silver Ridge, Cooper Hill, Sean Minor, Calera, and Flowers. One of the owners of Urban Grape, TJ Douglas, began each wine tasting with a short background on the bottle and why he chose it for the evening.
This guy, his name is George. He was, after business school and law school, he was a government bond trader in California. That's mine, I'll pour some more. And about 10 years ago, he had an epiphany. He went out to dinner with a friend, and that friend at a BYOB restaurant ended up bringing a bottle of 2001 Williams Salmon Pinot, and he fell in love with it. And he basically quit his job and moved and worked as a cellar rat in Williams Salmon for 4 years.
Tasting and tweeting continued throughout the night, with notes on each of the wines shared amongst individuals far and wide. TJ's wife and co-owner at Urban Grape, Hadley Douglas, explained her approach and process to tweeting about each wine, and how her shared thoughts were being responded to by others involved in the event.
Okay, so this is the Cooper Mountain Wines is the vineyard, and they follow us on Twitter, so I'm mentioning them so they know we're tasting their wine. Then I'm writing Tasting Cooper Hill, hashtag Pinot Noir, so it gets picked up in the voting. Hashtag WV, which stands for Willamette Valley, which is the region where it's grown. And then I wrote 4R on the UG progressive scale, on the Urban Grape progressive scale. That's how we designate it. And then I wrote one of our best sellers because we literally can't keep it on the shelf. We just tasted the Cooper Hill Pinot Noir, and I posted it on here, and the Cooper Hill Vineyard just wrote back at Urban Grape, the winemaker, hospitality director, and I'll say hello to you good people from out west. So then I'll retweet it so everyone that follows us can see it.
Once the tasting concluded, Amanda had one last tweet to send, one on her group's favorite Pinot of the evening.
TJ had pulled out a couple of wines that weren't previously on the list, that we weren't scheduled to taste, but he really wanted to pour them for us anyway. So one of them was the George Hansen Vineyard from Russian River Valley, and that came out the victor with 5 votes. And then I went around and asked people what they would have voted for if he hadn't pulled out the special stuff. So then Calera and Flowers came out in a tie. So we're kind of neck and neck. Everybody kind of agrees that, the stuff was good.
By combining simple keystrokes, and of course some really great wine, the Pinot Tweet-Up turned out to be an amazing success. wine lovers from coast to coast were able to share their personal insights to an online community that in the end likely learned quite a bit from each other.
Good evening, Rachel here in Boston's North End at the Wine Bottega Wine Shop. And we are here for a very special occasion tonight. We're here for the tasting of the Louis Dresner portfolio. So we're down in the tasting room with Matteo, and he's going to lead us through some of these wines because you've had a great deal to do with picking out these wines for this event, correct?
Yeah, I mean, best job in the world is working here and picking out these wines. Of course, Dresner's wines are absolutely some of my favorite. So tonight we're hosting a whole bunch of the folks from Dresner, but also some wines that we love and also some wines that you've never seen before.
Awesome.
So first up is one of our tried and true favorites, and this is Marc Olivier.
Okay.
He is one of our favorite Muscadet producers, and this is Domaine de la Pépier Clos de Briord Muscadet, totally underrated wine. You can drink this now, great with oysters, or in 20 years. Amazing value, $16.
Awesome.
And then, you know, it's really classic stuff.
Awesome, so let's taste.
Yeah, taste stuff.
Cheers.
The other day was raining. I'm like, I'm not.
It's classic stuff.
I think, you know, these are some of the people who are really sort of pushing the boundaries of what's available for wine in the United States. So really focusing on the small production, interesting, off the beaten path, you know, regions you've never heard of, grapes you've never heard of, which to us is what makes it really exciting.
Yeah.
You know, I always want to try something new. And these guys help us do our job better. And they're also just amazing, interesting, down-to-earth people.
We are here with Lee Campbell from Louis Dresner, and she's going to tell us a little bit about their amazing Beaujolais.
So this is a Beaujolais Village by Damien Coquelet.
Okay.
There's a few things that are really important about this wine. Number one, Beaujolais is an area that's been much maligned. Not naming any names, but a lot of these wines came into, you know, the United States in the 1980s and the 1970s, and people really think they have their mind made up about these wines. The thing about people like Damien Coquelet and his father, whose name is Georges Descombes, and a cadre of other producers in the Morgon region is that they have completely changed direction, up the ante when it comes to these wines. So whereas the wines that came into the United States for a long time were made very commercially, very industrially, these are wines that really kicked off the natural wine movement in France. And so the producers, I mean, that's really important because I think that we talk a lot about these natural wines coming out of Europe right now, and largely France, but we're seeing lots coming out of Italy and other places. 2009 is an amazing vintage. In France, overall, 09 is a really high quality vintage. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck there. And then you're tasting this wine from a young winemaker who's showing you what the terroir can do. He's working very naturally in the same tradition as his father. And he's showing you basically what Southern Burgundy is about. You know, in general these days, it's harder and harder to drink red Burgundy at a decent price. And Beaujolais is essentially just the southern tip of Burgundy. You're getting this wine, you know, under $20, and drinking something that's a food wine, but still really easy on its own and shows a lot of quality. So we're excited to see where he goes with it, but we're very happy with where he is right now.
Wine is all about that story, and it's not just the person making the wine, but it's also the people, you know, who then choose to import that wine, and then it's all about that conversation and bringing people together. So hopefully by having, you know, them here tonight and our customers being able to meet them, you know, you sort of get that dialogue happening and you feel closer to the wines and just have a greater understanding of the picture of it.
One of the most polarizing wines of the night is the Dard Ribot Crozes Hermitage, a wine from the Northern Rhone. You know, the Northern Rhone for the last 25 years has had its identity problems. Bigger producers are coming in, conglomerizing the region, and quote-unquote making wines in a certain way. Dard Ribot are two friends making the wines in their own small estate. They have holdings in Saint-Justephe and Crozes, but they make wines that are for freshness and drinkability in their youth. So maybe something not to age for super long time, but the wines are all about bright acidity, kind of crunchy, what the French would call a vin de soif, or a wine for thirst. It's great because Carrie and I often disagree about a lot of things, which is what makes it a lot of fun in here because we each, you know,
see what each other like, and we know what each other don't like. And this one's drawn a divide once in a while, but I think she'll see it's awesome today.
I think it's beautiful. Yeah, it does have that nice ripe acidity, and actually has a little bit of bitterness on it, which I like.
Yeah, it's got the bitterness, and it's a very elegant wine.
Absolutely.
This is just 12% alcohol from the Rhone, which is atypical, very Burgundian look at.
Yeah, it's a
Granite
beautiful
from
wine.
It's easy, you know, most wine shops sort of say like, oh, we have these great unique selections, but maybe it's only 20% of what they carry. And we said, you know what, that's nuts. Let's do it all the way. Everything should have a story behind it. We want to know who the winemaker is. We want to, you know, be able to share that with people. And it's tricky because if you have the unique things, but then you have the safe things, a lot of people are going to come in and just gravitate towards the safe wines. And so the way we do this, you know, we're very much here to answer any questions, help people find something. You know, if they say, well, I like this, what should I try? You know, we have to have that dialogue with them. But it's been amazing to see. You know, I think wine is so much more than a beverage, and it's because it's all those things that go into it that make that possible. The history, the culture, the chemistry, all those pieces. Yeah, the terroir. And so by being able to, you know, it's almost like people have to have a conversation when they come in. They come in, they look at the shelves, and they're like, I have never seen any of these wines. And they can get a little bit freaked out. But I think if we, you know, we're very laid back here, you know, we don't take it too seriously, we are not wine snobs. So yeah, once that conversation gets rolling, I think people are really excited to discover something new and to have that experience.